Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Veterans Views Radio Show on 12:30 a.m., 104.7 FM, WJOV, WJOB, in the beautiful Strachan Van Til Studios. We want to welcome you to the show. This is where veterans and service members of all types, as well as citizen soldiers, can call in, express their views of current events and things going on with the military, past and future.
Yep.
So we're going to get started with going over our contributors. And, of course, we're all volunteer men, and we all have that volunteer men, service, and women, I should say. We all have that built into our DNA because that's we're an all-volunteer force here in this country. But our voices here are only possible because of our contributors. Yeah. So, Donna, if you will.
Yes. All right. We'll start off with founding American Legion Post, Hammond Victory Post 168. They meet the first Tuesday every month at 6 p.m. at 6849 Columbia Avenue. Calumet Breweries, 6535 Osborne Avenue in Hammond. You can reach out to them at 219-845-2242. Calumet Park Cemetery and Funeral Chapel, beautiful place. They always support veterans. They are at 2305 West 73rd Avenue in Maryville. So call for special veteran savings on complete burial packages, 219-769-8803. DAV Chapter 17 meets the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. at VFW Post 8 at the Glen F. Reneker VFW Post 802. They are located at 5820 Homan Avenue in Hammond. DAV Chapter 80 meets the second Friday of every month. They are at the Cedar Lake VFW Post 261 at 13050 Washington Street in Cedar Lake. DAV Chapter 102 meets the first Friday of every month at the Fraternal Order of Eagles, 805 Elm Street in Valparaiso. Doors open at 12 p.m. for claims, meeting from 6:30 to 7:30. Then claims will start again until they are done. You can reach out to them at 219-200-0404. Laborers International Union of North America 41. They are at 500 Superior Street in Munster. You can reach them at 219-924-7922. Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 721. They meet the second Thursday at 7 p.m. at Glen F. Reneker VFW Post 802, and that is at 5820 Homan Avenue in Hammond. We have Family Dental Care. Veterans receive free exams, x-rays, and cleanings, as well as 10% discount on all other services. They have 7 convenient Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana locations, Chicago's east and south sides, Calumet City, Crestwood, Oaklawn, Evergreen Park, Munster, and their newest location coming this year is in Griffith. You can reach them at 219-804-9329 to schedule your appointment. The Ron J. Pressmer Insurance Company for all your insurance needs, home, auto, life, health, and business. You can reach him. He is located at 7207 Indianapolis Boulevard, Suite 1 in Hammond. His number is 219-844-0103. Kuziak Construction at 1235 Summer Street in Hammond. He is at 219-923-3007. And Dave's show is right before ours and airs every Friday from 6 to 9. So be sure to tune in to WJOB 104.7 and 12:30 a.m. And our newest contributor is Heroes Helping Heroes, Northwest Indiana. And they can be found at the heroeshelpingheroesin.com. Contact founder Rich Tokars at 219-670-2501. And as always, 988 for suicide and crisis line. And if you hit 988 and a 1, you'll be able to talk to a veteran. Also, if you do go, and we ask that you go to our contributors, check them out, and if you do, please mention that you heard about them on this show.
All right. Thank you for doing that, Donna. We're going to introduce our co-host team today. I'm Robert Rockwell. I am a Chief Warrant Officer currently in the Reserve National Guard. And then we have Donna. Donna is a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
That's right.
All right. And then we got Steve Bramer, Purple Heart recipient, has been a veteran and a service community DAV member for the longest. Do you say anything about yourself today, Steve?
Oh, I mean, apparently I have questionable hygiene.
So Jim Delo's show before warmed up the crowd, and our job is to keep the crowd. We're going to keep you all excited. We're going to talk about some really important things today, and a couple of things just on the current events. U.S. sending about 200 troops to Israel to help support and monitor ceasefire deal in Gaza. So Gaza war has been going on for over 2 years, and of course the big flow of humanitarian aid, the 200 troops. This was actually put out in fidelity by some officials that spoke on the condition of anonymity, because they did not want to discuss the details not authorized for release. But that is in military.com, and I think that everybody knows that their logisticals and their security assistance for the humanitarian aid needs some help. So a couple hundred troops, I mean...
And aren't they troops that are already in the area, though?
I believe so, and I know that we were in CENTCOM within the last year. There was ongoings there, so nothing that official I should be able to speak about. But somebody here put it out there on the condition of anonymity. Anonymity.
Anonymity.
Yeah,
never
there we
mind.
go. So we're all just veterans here. We don't pronounce big words. But if you understand that and you got any questions about that or any opinions, this is the Veterans Views radio show. Call in 219-845.
1100.
219.
845.
1100.
Yeah, call in and let us know your views or anything along those lines of the U.S. Continuing to fight the good fight, but ultimately spend tax dollars on sending troops into Israel. And that's just, something that we can have opinions about.
Yeah, my opinion is that we send, here's the thing, the government is shut down, supposedly, but they're still taking taxes out of my check, so they're not shut down in my opinion.
Yeah,
right.
But anyway, so even though the government shut down, veterans may not get paid, different departments may not get paid, some people are quote unquote furloughed. But we're still sending billions of dollars every day to Israel. So why do we have to send them troops too?
Yeah,
they have their own.
I totally get that. I tell you that there's another ad here just to that point. Troops will miss paychecks next week without action on the government shutdown. So this is the first I've heard of this. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has mentioned that with the government shutdown, that we might be missing our next paycheck.
Wow.
And so I actually have a couple-week training as we're pulling our equipment back from the Middle East.
Okay.
We got to, take it off the railhead and drive it back to post.
Yeah.
Right down in Indy. And so I've got a couple weeks coming up here in November that, hey, they might just have to give me an IOU, I guess.
So wait.
You think congressmen will get an IOU or the senators?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
But maybe they should.
They absolutely should.
They absolutely
Any
should.
callers out there think that when the government shuts down and all the real men and women out here working for a living and living paycheck to paycheck get their paychecks disrupted and their benefits disrupted, but why doesn't Congress, the ones who make decisions?
Yeah,
right?
they're not going to vote against themselves. They vote themselves raises.
I think if there was a repercussion along those lines, I don't think the government would shut down.
I don't either.
They would be forced to work together.
Right,
which
exactly.
is something that I would imagine is really
I heard
controversial.
I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name. The billionaire. I can't remember his name, but he said that.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he said I could fix it quick. He's like, if
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
What was it? He said.
He said if anytime
anytime there's a shutdown.
Anytime their inflation is a certain percent of GDP, Congress and senators are no longer eligible to be voted back in.
To be reelected.
To be reelected. Yeah.
I think that would fix a lot of issues.
Yeah.
You got to bring the hammer down. Maybe it's the judicial branch that needs to do that. I don't know, presidential, judicial, but somebody needs to take control because as I had spoke about in the speech that I did over there at the Veterans Ride a couple weeks ago, united we stand, divided we fall
Absolutely.
has never seemed more important than today on so many issues that this country is divided on. I, at least in my lifetime, haven't seen this sort of separation, volatility, and anger. You know, it used to be that you could sit down and just like have conversations about anything.
Yeah.
And then people would kind of respect whatever your political or religious views are.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's just so volatile.
You're an
You know?
enemy if you.
Yeah,
think
it's like
differently.
I
It's
can't be
crazy.
your friend.
Yeah,
right.
people
if you
are-
find out that you believe that, certain things in this country, like allowing gays in the military.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't believe that that's something that we should do, I'm not even going to be a part. I'm not going to be your friend no more. Like it's just.
It's terrible. I
wild.
mean,
You can't,
people
you
are
know.
not speaking to their family members because they have different political views, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous in my opinion. I mean, we don't all have to agree.
Yeah.
You know, that's the great thing about this country is we're allowed to disagree and we're allowed to speak freely, unlike in other countries of the world. But, we need to get back to respecting each other.
Yeah.
You know, and I've said this before, is that I miss how together we were after 9/11.
Yeah.
As terrible and as awful as that was.
Yeah.
Because that started the Patriot Act and
it's
all
the
that
sad truth that and I've said this on the radio show as well. The sad truth is sometimes to come together, you need to have something united to fight for, right?
Yeah.
And I tell you, it is a sad truth. But if somebody was to attack this, God forbid, attack us in any way, right? It would bring us together in a way that we haven't seen since 9/11.
Yeah.
And God forbid that ever happened. But that's a sad truth that a lot of these generations prior to us were joint in their fight and in their arms to, defend our country and our freedoms. And
Well, in the
recently you're like, what are we doing?
in the
What are
late
we- what are
60s
we
and
there
early
for?
70s, in the late 60s and early 70s, there was a lot of division about Vietnam. There
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of protests, but they were mostly peaceful protests. I'm all for peaceful protesting. If you don't agree with something the government's doing, you have the constitutional right to protest.
Yeah.
You don't have the constitutional right to, burn the city down, but you do have the right to protest, and I think that's central to our democracy. Or we don't have a democracy; we have a constitutional republic. But part of in my opinion, too, again, is part of the problem is that Congress has given so many of their powers away to the presidency, to the judicial branch, and that's got to stop.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, and it seems like with with every presidential pen swipe, whether who's in office, it doesn't matter left or right.
Yep.
The next one that comes in, it can just take it away.
Yeah,
The only things that stick are those that vote through Congress and Senate.
right.
you
That
know?
are actual laws.
Right.
Right.
And so when you do this little pencil whip and make it happen for your 4-year period, it's kind of flimsy.
Yeah.
It's only going to last for a few years until the next guy comes in or gal and says, hey, you know what? I don't like all these presidential pen whips that the last guy did, and it's pretty easy to sign over that.
Yeah.
See,
You know?
that's why I liked being in the military, because I was able to feel like I don't care. I don't care about the politics. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here for my buddies. I'm here
Right,
for
right.
my country. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
right? Leave
Right.
it there.
Yeah.
But it does feel like more and more they're trying to bring military into certain
Yeah.
things.
Well, look at our police
you know?
forces. They're militarized.
Yeah.
They don't need to be, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, because they get all the hand-me-downs from the military.
Yes, they do.
You
Look
know?
remember when the MRAPs were coming here?
Mhm.
Why do the police need an MRAP? Because they got them for free, but they didn't get free maintenance. Those tires cost like $2,000 a piece. So
Oh, yeah.
that's a
If
whole
not
other
more.
issue.
And those things are made out of like thick steel.
Yeah, the gas mileage is what one to
Oh,
the
yeah.
one to the mile or something.
Well, in certain instances, of course, I agree. Some of the military tech, maybe not, but as the terrorists advance, and things are getting so out of control in this country, it seems like every week something terrible is happening. And you can even look at the last couple of years and see that. But like SWAT teams, things like that, right? I think that's a necessary.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You definitely need that, and it's all taxpayer dollars, whether it's military or whether it's your civil defense or whether it's your fire department. Just kind of keep that in mind when people are like, oh, we have to, and please call us, callers, and talk about this, but we have to have a continuous flow of support in Ukraine. And I just think that there's so much combat fatigue in this country. Like,
Yeah.
why?
We've been at
Why?
war for
We
20
spent, what,
years.
Yeah.
80 billion?
And people are forgetting that.
80,
Yeah.
80 billion in Ukraine so far?
Yeah.
And that's like,
That's
like
crazy.
okay, I get it. We have to be the good guys. We can't let people just get massacred. But there's got to be a line in the sand where
Yeah.
you say, you know what, we're not an enduring support for this.
Yeah, we're not
We
your
can't just forever fund it.
yeah.
It's you got to come to the table
Yeah.
and negotiate, and so I don't know.
And
I
that's
don't know.
that's the same thing with all the foreign aid, whether it be Israel, Ukraine. We give away billions of dollars a year for get nothing in return.
And
I mean, I'm all for helping people. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
like you said, Rocky, there's got to be that line in the sand.
And people forget. People forget
Yeah.
that is a direct payment out of your paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, the taxes that come out, at least minimum 20% every time you get a paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, when
You're
people
like-
were talking bad about Doge when they came in, I was actually happy that people were like exposing what we're actually spending money on.
Well, you know, I was too, but the problem with that is that was all smoke and mirrors because everything that Doge supposedly got rid of is already back in play.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's what it
That's
seems
true.
like.
You know, it's
it
crazy.
seems like a lot of smoke and mirrors, and it's hard to differentiate. And like we talked about on the show last week, you got to get reputable sources. You got to go
Yeah.
through different avenues, have a different avenue of approach to find and research and decide what you think is real and what is true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Right.
that's a part of it, and all of it. We did get on a little bit of a spiel on spending, but it stems from us being veterans and us having been there in scenarios where we might have seen some extreme spending and been like, "What is this for?
Right.
Why are we spending millions on this?" But
Well, you know,
you know-
when I was on active duty, the end of September is the end of the fiscal year. So at the end of the fiscal year, if we had any money left, we had to spend it on something
yeah,
because next year we wouldn't get that money.
yeah,
Yes.
And that was a terrible
And that's
way.
horrible. That's a horrible practice.
It is. It's baseline budgeting and it's terrible. And just like in the Middle East, you know, when we left all this equipment there.
oh yeah,
You know, and now the Taliban has it.
Yep.
You know, we spent 20 years fighting the Taliban, and guess who's in charge now?
Yep.
The Taliban.
yeah,
I mean,
and we're working with them.
yeah,
You
Yeah.
know,
yeah,
they've like essentially
have
taken
to.
over part of their own government.
I
so.
mean, we have to.
yeah.
And that, you know, it's just like I mean, it's a much bigger level, but we're working with the communists. We're working with Vietnam,
Yeah.
right? So
And
like
China.
it's in China, and it's just you kind of have to. Whoever takes the flag, eventually.
Yeah.
You would assume that they have somewhat peaceful aspirations, even though it may have never been peaceful in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back to the heritage of our country. It by no means is peaceful, right? The way
Right.
that we've commandeered the 50 United States, you know, other than we bought Alaska from Russia for like $8 million. But, so that was, I guess, a
Yeah.
peaceful
Steal.
one. But yeah,
Yeah,
it was a steal,
right.
right?
You know,
But-
and I'm a big proponent of everybody going beyond the headline. You know, if you see a headline that makes you mad, read the actual article because the headlines are made to draw you in, but a
Yeah.
lot of people see a headline and they don't read the article.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a good example if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's.
So I saw an article a while back, and the headline was VA nurse refuses to thank veterans for their service. Well, that kind of got me going a little bit. So I was like, I got to read this and see what's going on. After I read the article, I was like, okay, I understand what's going on here. There's a VA nurse, and she was dealing with a vet who walked out of a counseling session, a group counseling session, when they were giving away pins and thanking everybody for their service. And I'm going to quote a couple of things that he said that, you know, I had never thought of. Of course, like I said, I've never served in combat, but a couple of things that he brought up really got me thinking. One of the things he said is, they call what happened over there service. Do they think we were serving French fries? What I saw, what I did, what my buddies did, what we had done to us. It wasn't any kind of service. It was pure heck. And I'm still living it. Now they want to pat me on the head and jab me with a cheap flag pin. So, and then he was like, he He says the big thing here. This is his quote again. Imagine you're hurting like hell, and all you want to do is tell your friends and family what happened, hoping they'll understand. Hoping maybe they'll tell you they're sorry about what you had to go through and reassure you that you're not some kind of monster. But all they do is pretend that what you did was great and parrot a bunch of lame horse crap about being a hero. It's like you're being choked to death from the inside, and you look to others for help, and they just smile and look away.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's real life right there.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. We got a caller on the line. He might have something
cool.
to mention about some of the feelings that some veterans have, maybe with thank you for your service type. You're on the radio, caller. Veterans Views.
Kumbaya, kumbaya.
Good morning, Ernie.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Why can't we all just get along around the campfire and sing kumbaya?
Yeah, that's what I want. I know Steve was
Well,
doing it. Steve does that quite a bit.
No way, man.
Well, I
Smokes
don't
his
know.
piece
Steve,
That's what they call it.
Steve and the hygiene, I don't know if I want to sit around the campfire.
Oh, come on.
Why is everybody picking on
Never
you,
mind, never mind.
Steve?
Hey, he forgot his Mountain Dew this morning, but mind you nothing, Ernie. He's got 15 sugars in his Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Oh, my God.
I just read the label.
I got to get this body raring to go for the morning, you know? Like, takes a lot to get this body going.
Woo. How did you survive in the desert without that caffeine?
I'd sit next to Steve anytime, anywhere, any place.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Best guy.
but yeah, this is your Civil War correspondent.
All right.
Reporting from the valleys in Tennessee where the war was and all over that section. But anyway.
Bearing a musket.
Hey, can you imagine that war fighting one shot at a time?
Oh, my God.
And,
Standing in a straight
and being-
line? Oh, my God.
Yes,
No,
and
I can't.
Straight on at each other. In each battle, you lose hundreds and hundreds of people. Well, that war's a war we could talk about for hours. But I did have two things I wanted to say. And first, and then I'll let you get back to your topic. Got a real good show going this morning, as usual. First of all, let's be right about flag etiquette. I got a little question to throw out.
Okay.
And we've been doing this for quite a while. Why is the American flag folded in a triangle?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay. Yeah, you throw that out because there's those out there that knows answers to these things.
Mm-hmm.
So let them wake up, drink their coffee, and call in.
Okay.
And then, and then, lastly, just a reminder: we're all looking forward to the hosts from Veterans Views Radio show. That's I understand is going to autograph brochures.
All right.
November 21st. November 21st at the Mayor McDermott's and Commission on Disabilities luncheon, and we got a group of speakers. It's going to talk about the DAV and all the benefits and everything that's going on. And I think we're coming on the show next week or the following. I forget the exact Friday, and talk about it. And I think maybe in November, Mayor McDermott would like to come on maybe and talk about it. But having said that, that's really about it. And I wanted to thank you for everything that you're doing, and we're really looking forward to doing this. This is the first time in the history of the city they've done a lunch and learn in honoring disabled veterans in their service, and also with all the latest benefits. And in conclusion, to remind everybody, November 1st is the Appreciation Day Parade that the City of Hammond sponsors under Mayor McDermott again. And because he's a Navy vet, I like throwing his name out, veteran to veteran, you know.
There you go.
And everybody interested in being in the parade or lining up, just call the mayor's office and they'll put you in touch with, what you need to do. So that's about it. And I'm anxious to hear the answer to the question, why do they fold the American flag in a triangle?
All right, we got two
All right,
callers
Ernie.
right after you, Ernie. We're going to get to them and see if we got an answer.
Hey, God bless.
God bless you.
All right.
You're on the radio there, caller. Veterans Views.
Hey, good morning. It's Ricky C., past commander and chaplain of American Legion Post 232 in beautiful downtown Hessville, Indiana.
There we go. Just right down the
There
street
you
here.
go.
All right. I
How's
love it.
everybody doing?
We're doing
Good.
good. How are you, Commander?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, sir. Just to let everybody know, tomorrow at Post 232, 6523 Kennedy Avenue in Hammond, downtown Hessville, Indiana, we will be having a wonderful, wonderful band from 7 to 11 tomorrow evening. Little Giant will be coming to the Post, no cover.
Wow.
Come on down, enjoy yourselves, have a good time, and maybe we can forget about all this craziness
Yeah.
that's going on in this country.
That's right.
Yes, Ernie, I agree with my
Amen.
buddy. We need to get together, but then again, we've got some people in this little city called Washington, D.C. have to remember that it is a democracy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Got to work together to get things done. It's a
And
Gotta vote.
believe me, folks, I have got several opinions on what's going on, but I do try to remember that I'm not only a chaplain, but I'm also an ordained minister.
There we go.
Oh, are you really?
So,
Oh, okay.
yes, yeah. So I will reserve comment on what's going on with everything, especially what happened yesterday in the city of Hammond.
Okay.
But God bless everybody. Yes, also to echo with what Ernie said, hey, come on out for that Veterans Appreciation Parade. Even if just, you know what? I don't know how you folks feel as veterans, but when someone walks up to me and says, thank you for your service, that does touch my heart. Because I go, I know I served during peacetime. The joke I had, and I'm not putting down any combat veteran anywhere, but my thing was the only combat I saw was fighting for a bar stool at the NCO club in Germany.
At the NCO club. Yeah, the
I like
NCO
that.
club. I like hearing about those stories.
So, you know, hey, just come out and support the veterans.
Yeah.
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Chaplain.
And they
Caller,
and
we
that,
still got another caller on there? We got one more caller here. You're on Veterans Views.
I was just gonna say that Veterans Parade is in November too.
Yeah.
I think it's the first Saturday in November,
I believe
if
so.
I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I wonder if we need to go sign autographs.
Yeah.
You're on the radio, caller.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Joey.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning, Don, and good morning, Mr. Rockwell, and good morning, Steve Bramer. How are you guys?
Good. How you doing, Joey?
I only had one thing, but now I got three things. First of all, I was wondering why neither one of you stepped up and said, "Hey, Ernie, Joey got your flat etiquette right last week," but nobody bothered to say
I
anything.
almost did. I had a feeling you'd call in.
Oh, okay, Joey. I'll tell him.
We should
And then
mention
number
that.
two-
We should mention that Joey's a Marine.
Thank you very much.
Which is kind of extraordinary that you got the answer correctly.
I know.
That's
Hey.
awesome.
He's sitting there writing down the answer with crayons.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
It don't matter how I got it, I got it.
That's right.
Touche.
Crayon, pencil, pen, or chalk. I got it.
Yeah, that's
all
right.
it is.
Like it.
Okay. Second of all, when not Ernie, my goodness, the one that just called in had said something about people acknowledging our service and stuff like that. I was always told, and that's like the Marine Corps League, so when anybody says, "Hey, thank you for your service," you look up and say, "Thank you very much. I appreciate your acknowledgement." So they acknowledge your service. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I always say. Thank you very much for your acknowledgement. Okay, so I don't know if anybody else does, but that's what you're always told. They appreciate time to take out and say thank you for your service. You let them know you appreciate the acknowledgement.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
that's two. And then number three, of course, is one to call for. Tomorrow is the second Saturday of the month, which is our monthly veterans breakfast over there. Over there, we have the breakfast at 8 a.m. over at help me out there. My mind is
Yeah, hold on. I got it on the text message we were talking last night.
Not Capos. I got the wrong name.
Stelios.
70
Cafe Stelios.
Thank you very much, Cafe Stelios at 8 a.m. 7454 South Broadway. Okay, 8 a.m. We've been having a large crowd, stuff like that. Hopefully, have another one. and so I just want to let you know, this is just for veterans. Okay, this ain't for veterans and spouses or children. Okay, this is just veterans talking to veterans and stuff like that. From 8 a.m. I guess to 11 a.m. and stuff like that. But you're welcome to leave after if you want. But we get together, we talk, we have announcements and stuff like that. So tomorrow morning, I know I put it out there. My Google was acting crazy, and for some reason, instead of putting it in separate classifications with everybody, I put everybody together. So I had to redo everything. But I think I got it right, and I sent it all out again. So some of you may have gotten two announcements for tomorrow, stuff like that. But I hope to see a bunch of you. If you do come, like Mr. Steve Bramer, you've been saying you're going to come. I hope that you make it there tomorrow.
It has been.
Donna, if you're off tomorrow, hope to see you tomorrow. Stuff like that,
Okay. Try to make it in the morning, Joey. I appreciate it. The gentleman that I spoke to a lot when I went last time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a World War II veteran.
That's correct. Yeah, you are correct.
He had so much spunk and piss and vinegar. I was just in awe and enamored by his stories.
Absolutely.
And that's I was by far the youngest guy there, but
that's Mr. Steve Blair, and he's one of Post 54's American Legion members. Yes, sir, you are correct. Yeah,
very an honor to be a part of that and amongst such history there.
Yeah. He can have history, and then he can be a real wisecracker. Let me tell you. I mean, he come up with some of the craziest jokes. Let me tell you, stuff like that. You think I'm bad? Oh my goodness, he takes the cake.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, tomorrow morning, if you'd like to join us, veterans, come join us. It's a really good place, good breakfast. They treat us real well. You get a military discount, and it's veterans talking to veterans. Just pull up a table and have a cup of coffee, have a meal, talk and stuff like that. And if you're done, you're welcome to leave. But if you want to stay and jaw jack and stuff like that, you're welcome to, talk to each other and stuff like that. And you'd be surprised who y'all meet there. We have 54 there. We have 16 there from thing. We have DAV there. We have a group of people there. So and we're trying to get it to go bigger and bigger. That's why I keep adding to the list. So like I said,
Joey.
I got 3 lists of 20, which is 60, and I started a 4th list of 7. So that's 67 that I invite. And anybody else is welcome. Bring another veteran with you if you want to join and get on the list. Hey, give me your name, number, and your email address if you have it, and I'll be glad to add you to the list. Okay. So
thanks, Joey. Thanks for calling.
Hope you have a really nice crowd tomorrow morning. Okay, at 8 a.m. Okay.
All right, we'll see you.
Yeah. Y'all have a good weekend. God bless. Okay. All right.
God bless, Joey.
Thanks, Joey.
So there's 2 veterans, even 3 that had mentioned, hey, you know what? When somebody says thank you for your service, they take it as an honor. I in the past have said it's my honor.
Yeah.
But I get it. So there's obviously different levels of war torn, or combat fatigue, as we say. I would imagine that some people that have done maybe more horrific or been through more PTSD symptoms than others might see it as I don't know if I even thank myself for what I did, but I think they just fall into that mindset. Maybe that's not the common denominator,
There's a quote in here from a World War II veteran who was part of the bombing raids over Germany, and he was incinerating, just setting on fire all the German cities. The point was to kill everybody, and his quote in the article is, what he hears when people thank him for his service, because he thought he was a monster and that he was a mass murderer and that he was going to go to hell because of everything he did in the war. And his quote is from what he takes out of when people thank him for his service. He says, and I quote, "We believe that you were performing service, standing up for freedom, protecting the weak, saving democracy. You're a hero. That's our story, and we don't want to hear your story if it makes us uncomfortable or challenges us in any way." Which I think is pretty poignant, because we never, as a community, as a country, and I know it's hard to talk about the stuff you do in war. I know it is. I served with some war veterans from Vietnam, and they had a real hard time talking about what went on over there, unless they were drinking. It's the only time they would really open up. And I know that's hard. I can't even imagine. And but for us as for Americans who didn't serve, they don't want to hear that stuff,
Yeah.
because it's terrible. War is terrible,
Yeah.
and
And a lot of veterans don't talk about it,
right.
until you're around other veterans that have been through something like that. And we've mentioned that on the show. We've got a lot of resources either on the show or through
Well,
our networkings that somebody that you can talk to if you're in a position like that. And we all try to empathize, but not all of us have seen, not all of us are Purple Hearts. Not all of us are, have combat infantry badges or have been in situations where you've seen some of that.
Right.
So
I think it's like 30% of people when they go into like combat zone or whatever actually go off the base. Like 70% is support.
Yeah.
People who do the paychecks, people who do supply, people who do the food. So it's just, it's kind of like trauma. It's kind of like that trauma therapy where like some people could talk about it and feel better about it, but then other people just want to forget it.
yeah,
And they don't want to think about it because
Yeah.
it just brings up more stuff and just spirals.
Right.
And, I think it's become a lot more clear to veterans that talking about it is a better solution than keeping it in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of become more of a norm
Yeah.
now.
yeah.
But like those Vietnam vets, they didn't know that back then.
No.
Yeah,
You know?
we've come a long way as far as mental health
Oh,
support.
big time.
A long time. Yeah. And it's not. We always seem to find the money to send our young people to go die in a foreign country.
Mm-hmm.
But when they come back, we don't have money for the VA. We don't have money for treatment programs.
Yeah, and one of the big things that people might overlook with mental stress is obviously the families, and we do
Yeah.
try to give the families recognition as much as possible. And I know a lot of people have given my wife recognition for my most recent deployment and my kids and everything. But it brings to some of the military events and observances in October is the National Military Families Month, actually.
Oh.
That's nice.
This month long observes honors the service and sacrifices of military families. So that's a huge
how
thing.
many wives or husbands have said when their loved one comes back, they're not the same person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
You know.
they have stress. They're worried. They don't get that fulfillment when they get home because they're different. The relationship's different, and that's a hard thing to swallow sometimes. When you're kind of used to it at a certain point, especially with the Army deployments, because they're a year. They've minimized some of the lengths of the other branches deployments to 6 months, and the Air Force at times even has 3-month deployments. But the Army's still a year, and it used to be back when you were in, it was longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Like you
over
were
a
out
year.
there for a year.
I've heard of people being on the same deployment for almost 2 years
Yeah.
on it, like just because of the rotational.
And primo,
Yeah,
and
and
demo, and like,
right.
it just all adds up.
And
to
then
a
also
long
this
time.
month, coming up here in a few days, you got the Navy's birthday this month. National Day of the Deployed, October 26th. They recognize service members who are deployed currently. So as we kind of go through and realize that there's so many out there deployed now, and there's so many families here support of them, that now we have these new issues with a couple hundred going to Israel, troops all over the world, and they're all in different scenarios,
Yeah.
right? Some of them logistics. Maybe if your statistic is correct, the 30%, are the ones. 30% of the 1% really are
Yeah.
the ones in those combat scenarios. Then we still got more work to do, and that's why this show and the veterans community and service groups around is important for us to be a part of. We got a caller. Hey, caller, you on Veterans Views?
Okay, I hate to be here twice, though, but the answer to Ernie's flag etiquette question goes back to when George Washington days, when they wore the tri-fold hats, the tri hats. That's why the flag is folded and tri, because it goes back to Washington when they wore them the tri covers and stuff like that. So it goes back all the way to George Washington days.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, that's how
Wow.
Ernie knows.
He
Okay.
was probably there.
Yeah.
See, I'll be honest. I had to Google it, and I was writing with the crayon. The crayon broke, so I had to wait and get it. So I couldn't find another one. So, Well, now that's 2 chicken dinners. Who's coming up with these chicken dinners, Ernie or what? Who's gonna, how do I get my pay? I mean, Yeah, I'm not doing this, out of the kindness. Oh, yes, I am.
I think Ernie might have taken home a little bit of the tea when they were on the boat throwing all the tea into the ocean of the Boston Tea Party back then. So I think that tea's probably pretty valuable. He'll hook you up, Joey.
He may have hijacked a case or two, And
Yeah.
Right.
He was out there dressed up like an Indian, and that's all that good stuff.
Yeah, even though my kids tease me and stuff like that, hey, didn't you know Paul Revere and stuff like that? And I get the heck out of here.
Good stuff, Joey.
Okay.
Thanks for the call.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
so they fold the flag in remembrance of that original. That's got to be an original look in George Washington's.
Yeah.
The triangle hats.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome.
Wonder if that was made of wool. So, everything's so hot.
Oh God, can you imagine how hot
And
that
you've been to
stuff was?
Fort Lee, and I'm sure you've been to these East Coast posts, right? And it's hot.
It is
out there. You go to
humid.
some of these old combat fields where the Civil War, the Revolutionary War was. Those uniforms were not. I complain about my uniform.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, you see these other countries out there in the Middle East, and like, you see like Spain soldiers, okay, because we have like joint forces in operation in Inherent Resolve, and they have shorts and t-shirts.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Really?
Camo, yeah. Well, it's 120 degrees.
Aren't the British
I'm
like
like,
that
at least
too?
somebody's making sense out here. I'm wearing
Right?
full battle rattle, long sleeves. Like, I get it.
Mob gear.
That's all. Yeah,
God.
yeah. Oh no! And then I see these other countries. I'm like, somebody's thinking there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look the most professional, but
There was another one that's like that. I can't think if it was the British or the Australians.
I think it's the Australians.
Yeah,
I've
they
seen
wear
some
the
of the
shorts
Aussies.
too, innit?
Yeah,
and
no,
the
they-
long socks.
the
Yeah.
Aussies, they have those caps.
Yeah.
They almost look like cowboy hats.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
pin them
yeah.
up on one side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they're pretty cool looking.
I was with some Aussies out there in Japan. They're a colorful bunch.
Yes.
they like to have fun.
Yeah, I partied with some of them in Coronado.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. That was a night I would like to remember, but
Between the sake, the Aussies, and the Japanese soldiers, I think we were protecting our women soldiers more than anything. We were just on guard, like, stay away from our girls, But, it was fun. So it tells you a little bit about how we work together in joint force across the world in the different
yeah.
countries. And it's a necessary thing. We do talk about, hey, how beneficial is our tax pay dollars in these countries and being all over the world, but it's logistical hubs, and it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
It might be on the hey, break box in case of emergency reason,
right.
right? But I think overall the different commanders in the areas around the world, whether it be CENTCOM, AFRICOM, EUROCOM, PacificCom, right? The 4 stars, they know what's going on. We're just shooting it around here on the radio show, but
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust the generals. Really, I do. Because again, they're not political. I mean,
Well,
you
they're
don't
not
get
supposed to be.
elected
They're not
into a
supposed to
four-star position.
Yeah.
Right? There
Yeah.
might be some internal, hey, rubbing of shoulders and stuff, but they are not elected officials. So
I feel at some point that's kind of like already planned out to some of these guys.
Yeah.
Like they already know. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, you got the ring knockers.
Yeah.
They, go to the prestigious military colleges.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
They wear their ring around, and I don't care if you're a butter bar. If you got one of those rings, this guy's gonna be a general one day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah. And it's I know to be a general, you have to be the president has to sign off.
on a 4-star, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
So
Yeah.
when I got promoted to E6, Congress, I got a thing from Congress.
Yeah.
Had to sign off. So
Really?
that was pretty cool.
That
So
is
in the
cool.
Army, you get E7, and then what it takes is an act of Congress to
Yeah.
demote you from that. So
Yes,
you
it
have
does.
to do something pretty bad
I didn't know that.
to get demoted. From
Yeah,
that
we had
point.
we had an E6 who I served with who one day was an E6 and the next time I saw him he was a corporal, an E4.
Well, at least they let him keep his stripes.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he did was we won't talk about, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is a
he
topic.
got what he
though.
deserved. Let me just put it that way.
That is a topic. A lot of, and I think the reality of it is, is that we get a lot of troops at 18, even 17 years old. They don't really have the development yet into who they are as a person.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they
Oh,
all
yeah,
of a
they're
sudden,
still kids.
all of
Yeah.
a sudden you got an E5 that's 21 or a second lieutenant that just graduated college that's 22. They don't know. They don't even know if they're a man or a woman. Like, they don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're in charge, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
we rely on our training, and we rely on it being tough to build that integrity and strength. But the reality is that we have a young force,
Yeah.
and it's built that way for a reason.
Right, and you
So-
know, and I think part of the reason is so that they can take you and mold you into a Marine, into a sailor, into
Yeah.
a soldier.
Yeah.
You know,
And I'm not downplaying it, the training, because there is, I've seen some really, really good young soldiers, and one of
absolutely.
them comes to mind out there in the Middle East. He was an E5, young guy, I think 21, 22, and he was just so impressive to me. I'm like, this is a good buck sergeant, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like 38 years old. I've been in for 17 years, and of course I'm judging these young cats, and and I was like, this kid's impressive, you know. So it's
Yeah.
good to see that.
Yeah,
you know, it's
absolutely.
good to see that.
it kind of makes you feel good about who's coming up
Right.
in the ranks.
And everyone's
you know?
all these you know, we talk about almost every show. These, what are they called? Wave the card and say, hey, I'm too stressed.
the stress card, yeah.
And he's like, I never heard anything like that. Really, like he didn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. That's just a bad rumor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm glad they're not doing
Good.
that.
Yeah,
they're not
me
doing
too.
that. Yeah, they're not that soft.
No.
Right? Our troops, we are the strongest military force in the world, and
Yes, we are.
don't you forget it. Don't nobody forget it, and nobody wants to mess around and find out with the United States. So
Yeah.
we just gotta stay together, I think, was the main point of this show today.
Yeah.
Talk about sticking together, and as this civilian population thanks us for our service, like how do we take that, right? We take
Right.
that as an honor. We take that as a, hey, these people don't really know what I went through. Like, do you see it as I was a bad person during, or do you see it as I had to do this and I had to serve my country and I did what I had to do to stay alive?
That's
You know?
Yeah.
And Steve said earlier, there's no political involvement. I just followed orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, as long as there's a lawful order, I felt good about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how we're bred,
Yeah.
right?
I think so, and and it helps too if you know what you're fighting for. You know,
Yeah.
in Vietnam, they had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, they'd take a hill, like we talked about with our guests a couple weeks ago. They'd take a hill, and then 2 weeks later,
They
3
give
weeks
it up.
later, they're taking it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
So all those lives lost were for what?
Yeah.
You know, and when you let the politicians run the war, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
You
got to
know?
let the generals do their jobs.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at Storm and Norman Schwarzkopf from
I
the
love
first
him.
Gulf War. He was awesome.
I love him.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He's
He
like
didn't-
my favorite general.
Yeah, he didn't take no bull from anybody,
No.
and he did what he had to do to one, protect his troops, and two, win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and he wanted to go further. He wanted to go into Baghdad, and they wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
You know, he
Well,
wanted
there's those
to put an
case-
end to all of it right now.
There is those cases of, like Patton, for example, right? Warmonger, but a hero, American hero, right? In many rights. But sometimes you go too far,
Yeah,
and you need to be knocked off the pedestal.
And you know what's messed up is
Yeah.
he was actually right about going for Russia.
yeah,
Yeah.
He should have.
Yeah,
But-
take them while they're in a weak point.
and just
right?
like Schwarzkopf was right about Iran or Iraq.
Yeah.
You know, it would have saved us from going back there. Maybe, I don't know.
Just imagine the actual feelings that you get, like with having a commander like a Patton out there, and when he says, I don't care if my soldiers eat their leather belts as long as I got fuel in my tanks, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't want to eat a leather belt, man. I'm hungry, Give me some chow out here. Jeez, man, how am I going to fight, right? But
and wasn't it Patton that slapped two soldiers that had
Yeah.
PTSD?
Yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah.
I think he was. I mean, he was a multi-war commander. But a lot of history in there. If any historians want to call in and give us a little spiel on Patton, I think that's an interesting story in itself.
Yeah,
We like to dive into history because without knowing your history, you're just destined to repeat it.
absolutely.
And it seems like this country has done that quite a bit, just repeated history over time.
And
Now we are seemingly pushing forward, though. I
Yeah.
think that even in my lifetime, we are more free than we were, but definitely in the last 100 years, this country is way more free than it was,
Yeah.
right? And this because we've went through the bad times, and there's been a lot of struggle, but ultimately, so far to this point, the right decisions have prevailed to allow us to be free.
Yeah, but
You
I
know?
think we're right at the top of that precipice, and its chances of it going down are getting more and more. You have over in Europe and in the UK, they're putting people in jail for what they write on social media.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
You
see
know, and
that.
now they
I
want to
saw
come out
that.
with these digital IDs so they can control where you go and what you can do.
Yeah.
And if we go
Wow.
to strictly digital currency, you might have money today, but tomorrow the government can say, no, you don't need all that money. You can't use it right now. Or whatever. I mean, it's all about control, and I think
Yeah.
we're heading down that slippery slope.
The technology and the artificial intelligence. We should do a whole show about that.
Yeah,
AI is
It's here.
It's getting
It
crazy.
is here. And China has put out that they want to have 500 humanoid robots to 10,000 people by the end of 2025.
Wow.
So 500 humanoid robots. Now, these aren't robots that are just working an assembly line.
right.
These are robots that are walking around your house,
Yeah,
right? Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, and if
and
you
pretty
if you
soon
look
they'll
it
be
up,
fighting our wars.
look it up.
I mean,
They've-
didn't we have a movie about that
Elon
called
Musk,
The Terminator?
yeah, or iRobot, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Elon Musk has robots that says Tesla right across the chest of the robot, and they're out there in the crowds walking around serving drinks, dancing, literally right now, today. He
And there
said that he plans on by 2028 putting these robots out for $20,000 a piece. That he anticipates in the next 10 years that they'll be as common as cell phones.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
humanoid robots walking around.
That's crazy.
And wasn't
Yeah.
there? I read an article, something, and I might get this a little bit wrong because I read it a little while ago, and they were talking about AI and robots and stuff, and how this one AI-controlled robot lied to the programmer because he didn't want to be deactivated.
Oh, I believe
What?
it.
Yeah, yeah,
I believe it.
something like that. Somehow,
Yeah.
I don't
Well, they're
pretend to know how it works,
yeah,
but
they're masters of chess. You could put a robot in front of a game and it'll master it within
Yeah.
seconds. It takes
Yeah.
a human obviously hours or days or months to
Yeah.
master any kind of game like that.
right.
But that all comes to how that's related to the military. I don't know, but really there is fleets of drones that countries are currently
Mm-hmm.
using that are fully artificially that are fully artificial intelligence, and they have their own decision-making capabilities. So they
Really?
decide who lives or dies
See,
on the
that's
combat
crazy.
field.
I don't-
And that is
I don't know.
already here. There's 40
Wow.
confirmed kills with these fleets of drones. 40 confirmed kills, right?
Wow.
From
Wow.
them choosing who lives or dies. Right?
That's
Imagine letting one of those
Terminator.
things go.
I said it before.
Yeah.
Terminator
Just-
movie.
they
It's coming
take
to
off.
life.
They take off, and they fly to the combat field, and that's all you hear about it because obviously you're watching them on a. But you're not telling them who to kill. They're doing it on their own. Now that's a scary thought, and
Yeah.
that's the future of combat.
Like, how do they know
I don't know.
the difference?
I
And
don't
how
know.
easy are
Yeah,
they to- and how
I
easy are they
encourage
to hack?
callers to research that and call in. That was an article that I read, not recent enough to really quote, but I know that it is a current thing, and it is going on right now.
And can
So-
they be hacked
Yeah,
Oh, right?
to turn on our own troops?
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting
You know?
to say the least.
I saw a thing where Robin Williams' daughter went on social media and was telling people not to send her AI videos of her father anymore. Because I guess
Oh.
people were making AI videos of Robin Williams and like
Oh.
sending it to her.
Oh, that's really
and she's
sad.
like, I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
like,
That's really
what are you
sad.
doing?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's where we're at. It's crazy.
And
You
pretty
could-
soon, people are going to be able to make a video of you doing or saying something that's not even you.
I
Yeah,
know.
it didn't even do it.
Yeah.
You didn't even do it.
Yeah, and how are we supposed to know what's true anymore?
Right.
AI and drones. That's the next future, man.
Yeah,
It is.
That is
It is.
that is just crazy.
And
I mean,
that's the future of the combat field,
yeah.
you know?
Pretty soon, you'll be going to boot camp with robots.
I would imagine so.
Sorry, I know I never tune into the show and talk, but the whole thing with AI, like, it's already there. There are people
Yeah.
that do, like, Donald Trump saying things, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, all these I mean, heck, they've literally brought Hitler back to life. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even
Yeah.
a joke. Like,
It's wild.
It's ridiculous, and it's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You have to literally look for like minor discrepancies in like the actual video and the way that
or
he
their
moves.
hand movement or
yeah,
something,
exactly.
right.
Or if like some logo looks off on their shirt or something like that. Like it's that kind of small, minute details that like tell you.
Yeah.
But eventually they're going to fix that too, and then what
Yeah.
happens?
Right.
Yeah.
It's just going to get more and more refined.
Yeah.
And it's a blanket of false information.
Absolutely.
We're in the world of false information. So back to our point here that we made last week, reputable sources, do your reading, do multiple deep dives. Don't get your views or standpoints on military or veterans community or anything along the lines of this show. Don't get your opinions from Facebook.
right.
Research somewhere else and figure it out.
Actually,
right?
read the article.
Yeah.
And if it appeals to you, find the opposing view.
Yeah.
So, because the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right.
You know, it's not all left. It's not all right. The truth is right there in the middle.
Yeah. Well, we're on last call, so
Okay.
we're gonna go around the horn and then I'll close us out, if you will, Donna.
I just want to say, everybody, reach out to your battle buddies. 988+1. You can talk to a veteran if you really need to. I know some veterans have called and have had wonderful results with that service. So please do that. 22 a day is way too many. One a day is way too many.
Absolutely, it is. Steve, you got anything?
Let's see. The tribute dinner is coming up in November. Veterans Day is coming up, and Halloween's coming up. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, be safe
Oh,
out there.
actually, Wicker Park's having a trunk or treat. October 25th, Saturday.
Yeah. When's Wicker Park do that breakfast veterans? It's not Wicker Park. I don't know if it's Kelly Bridges or Adrian Santos.
Oh, the
That's a-
Commanders Roundtable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out when that is and put it out
Yeah.
on the show next week. But I want to just say thank you, everybody, for your service and everybody in their current roles and prior roles in the military, veterans and citizen soldiers out there. Thanks for tuning in to the show. It's important to join your local committed veterans representation committees, whether that be the VFW, the American Legions, the DAVs, and that's just to name a few, Military Officers Association. Important to get involved and continue to push out our information here like we do on Veterans Views every week. It's an honor to be here. I can speak for all of us to say that. Our volunteer service commitments are holding strong, and we want to continue to do this forever. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for our contributors and continuing to support Veterans Views. God bless you. God bless America. Have a
Hoorah!
great day.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
Good night, Chesty, wherever you are.